I've gotten countless messages, comments, and emails requesting this specific topic. And it took me a while to finally pull the trigger on this video because there are so many books that have impacted me in a profound way. I can honestly say that without certain books, I would not be where I am today. I never would have started the self-improvement journey, and I would still be stuck in the limiting beliefs and paradigms I was raised with as a child. I'm gonna give you the top 5 books that were life-changing for me, and I want you to stick around to the last book because it's gonna be something you're not expecting. One thing I wanna preface before diving into the list is that I highly recommend physical books. There's something about sitting with a book, reading the words on a page. It has the ability to penetrate your subconscious and take root in a way that I don't believe that audiobooks can do. With audiobooks, regardless of the state of mind that you're in, they just keep playing regardless of if you're focused or not, and it's very easy to miss key points that have the potential to change your life. So I would encourage you to just let go of the ego metric of how many books you've read. Find a handful of books that really resonate with your soul on a deep level and reread those books until they've taken root. The first life-changing book for me is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I feel like this is one of the OGs when it comes to self-improvement. Every time I talk about habits, people are always like, oh, you must have read Atomic Habits by James Clear. And to be honest with you, I think James Clear took most of his inspiration from this book. The idea of how discipline eventually turns into habit, and you could stack habits. There's so many things in that book that were fundamental for me. The idea of quadrants for time management, the ideas of interdependence. Basically, we all start out very dependent, and then we eventually move to a place of independence, and a lot of people stay there. The next level is getting to a point where you surround yourself with other independent people and you come together and you elevate each other, and that's called interdependence, where all of you are self-contained in your own way, but you've found a way to help each other grow. The concept of looking for win-win situations whenever you have to negotiate. It talks about the circle of influence, the ability to focus on the things that you actually can control versus the external factors that we can't control. The way the book is worded is like very philosophical. There's something deeply spiritual about the book, and it's something I wasn't expecting when I first picked it up. In a lot of ways, it feels like Stephen Covey's magnum opus somehow condensed into 350 pages. And every time I read it, I feel like I've read it for the first time. It is what started the journey for me of self-improvement and helped me take it seriously. The most profound paradigm shifts that happened in my life started with this book. It literally came out in 1989, which is like a couple years after I was born. It's very easy to go down the rabbit trail of self-improvement books, but honestly, everything you need is in that book. Purchase a physical copy, reread it for the rest of your life. The second most life-changing book for me was Seneca's On the Shortness of Life. It's pretty short, it's pretty small, but it's very dense. It's more of an essay than it is a book, but I have spent countless hours going through this text, underlining parts of it, and every time I read it, I learn something new. It kind of feels like reading scripture, because it's 2,000 years old, but there's very deep, timeless wisdom in this book. I'd say that it's actually a slightly more difficult read than Marcus Aurelius' Meditations. It's not really broken down for you in as digestible of a way, but if you take the time with this, it's very rewarding. Sometimes throughout my days, out of the blue, if I'm wasting time or doing something that doesn't really resonate with my spirit, all of a sudden little quotes will pop up in my mind from reading this over the years, and it's very profound. I'm going to read a few paragraphs from this really quick just so you can get an idea. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Life is long enough, and a sufficiently generous amount has been given to us for the highest achievements if it were all invested well. But when it is wasted in heedless luxury and spent on no good activity, we are forced at last by death's final constraint to realize that it has passed away before we even knew it was passing. So it is. We are not given a short life, but we make it short. We are not ill-supplied, but wasteful of it. Just as when ample and princely wealth falls to a bad owner, It is squandered in a moment, but wealth, however modest, if entrusted to a good custodian, increases with its use. So our lifetime extends, amplify, if you manage it properly. Many pursue no fixed goal, but are tossed about in ever-changing designs by a fickleness which is shifting, inconsistent, and never satisfied with itself. Vices surround and assail men from every side and do not allow them to rise again and lift their eyes to discern the truth, but keep them overwhelmed and rooted in their desires. They are choked by their own blessings. How many find riches a burden? How many burst a blood vessel by their eloquence and their daily striving to show off their talents? How many are pale from constant pleasures? How many are left no freedom by the crowd of clients surrounding them? You will find no one willing to share out his money, but to how many does each of us divide up his life? People are frugal in guarding their personal property, but as soon as it comes to squandering their time, they are most wasteful of the one thing in which is right to be stingy for. You will find that you have fewer years than you reckon. It gets a lot deeper than that. That's like 4 paragraphs out of 100 pages of the book. It's one of those books that you should honestly just sit with for your lifetime and come back to on a regular basis. Next recommendation falls into a similar category. Helen Keller's The World I Live In and Optimism. The way that she writes feels very stoic, and as you dig into it, you'll realize that a lot of her influences come from Stoic philosophy. She identifies as a Christian, but she also has this deep reverence for other religions and other spiritual beliefs, which you'll find that a lot of modern day Christians don't really have. They kind of feel like their ideas and way is the only way, otherwise you'll just go to hell. I believe that Helen Keller was one of the most enlightened human beings to have ever lived. It's broken up into 2 books. The first part is The World I Live In. She just goes very in depth on her experience of living in a world of total silence and total darkness, and the miracle of coming into awareness of her consciousness later in life, being someone that had all these disabilities. At first, she was almost like a rabid animal that just didn't know what the fuck was going on because she couldn't perceive anything. And there was someone in her life that just kept trying to make her aware and show her that there was more to her dark world and more to just the silence that surrounded her. And when she broke free of that, she basically just became like this enlightened being. And the second part of this book is called Optimism. And similar to Seneca, it's like a very dense essay. She just goes into her thoughts on optimism. She dubbed herself as an optimist, but she was not naive at all. She was very aware of the dark side of human nature. She pulled inspiration from a lot of other writers. She spent most of her time reading philosophy. She was a big fan of Ralph Waldo Emerson, Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and of course biblical scripture as well. And the way that she ties it all together and her lens of seeing the world is truly extraordinary. If you allow yourself to digest these writings, it will change your life. You could honestly spend 30 minutes just contemplating and rereading 1 or 2 pages. And if you tried to consume something like this through an audiobook, it would just be almost pointless. You have to sit with the text. Hey, brother. I just wanted to personally invite you to check out the Conscious Men community. I just launched it. If you are a man and you're looking for accountability and support and connection with other like-minded men, then I would encourage you to check it out. You will also have direct access to me. I am very active in the community. If you are on the self-improvement journey and trying to reach some goals, whatever those may be, whether it's trying to quit pornography, whether it's trying to build a strong masculine physique, do inner work and heal some of your past trauma, I've found that having the support of like-minded men can really go a long way. I've had very long seasons of solitude, oftentimes on purpose because I couldn't find other guys who were either at my level or I felt like could elevate me in some way. This community only attracts men who are serious about becoming the best version of themselves. There's also exclusive courses that are being built. Right now, there's a mini course in there that shows how I make all of my YouTube videos. I've been getting a lot of questions about those car chat videos that I make. So in that course, I disclose all my secrets if that's something that you're interested in. Currently, I am also building a body transformation course as well. As the community grows, I'm going to raise the price significantly so the barrier of entry is higher, because I want to keep the community manageable and personable so that way it remains effective. So get in early right now while the price is as low as it's ever going to be. Click the link in the description, watch the welcome video, and hopefully I'll see you on the inside. Let's get back to the video. The next book I've mentioned in a few of my other videos. It's a book that we discussed a lot in the Conscious Men community that I started, The Way of the Superior Man. I think this book is essential for any man who is starting to expand his consciousness, is looking for something deeper than the surface level. It goes in depth of the polarities of masculine and feminine, on how to deal with the chaos of feminine energy. A lot of men who don't understand feminine energy get pretty pissed off, they get bitter and resentful towards women, but they only understand one side of the coin. It also does a great job in guiding you in how to develop your own inner divine masculinity and how to become more like a calm mountain where the chaos of feminine energy can crash over you like the waves of the ocean. It goes pretty in depth into sexual transmutation. I know I've talked about that in previous videos. How to find your purpose, the importance of finding your purpose as a man. It goes into different layers of purpose that you'll experience throughout your life. It's incredible. It's a book I honestly wish I found when I was a teenager. It would have saved me a lot of confusion as I navigated what it meant to be a man. There's a chapter of facing your inner darkness and cultivating it. It pulls it from Carl Jung's writings. There's so many concepts in this book, and he does a really great job at breaking it down and making it easily digestible. I would highly recommend this one. It's foundational for men in this modern age who are overwhelmed by all the narratives in the media and social media telling them what kind of man they should be. If you desire to become more grounded in your masculinity while learning how to embrace the feminine, both the feminine elements that are within you and in women, pick up The Way of the Superior Man as soon as possible. And the fifth book recommendation, the one that you're not expecting, Arnold, Total Recall. Reading about his life story as an immigrant coming to this country, being hungry to reach the highest of heights of accomplishment. Every single thing that he desired to accomplish, every single goal that he set, not only did he achieve, but he reached the highest possible level. Started with bodybuilding. He became obsessed with it. He put forth the highest levels of discipline that he could possibly muster. And then from there, he got into real estate and became a millionaire. A lot of people don't know that he was actually a millionaire before he ever decided to start acting. His level of drive, the level of purpose that he had, he was not like modern men at all. He utilized every minute of every single day. The guy woke up at 5 in the morning and didn't go to sleep until like 12 every single night. Once he became a millionaire through real estate, he decided to get into acting. He had this crazy thick accent. He was getting turned away for roles. He had to be very disciplined and learned how to lighten his accent over time. And then, as you know, he became one of the biggest actors in the world of his time as an action movie star. And then from there, he casually decided to get into politics and became the governor of California. When someone has this repeated level of success over and over and over again in completely unrelated areas, then that means that they have something. They have a mentality, they have a mindset, they have a work ethic that most people will never have. So the idea with biographies is anytime you're reading about someone who's accomplished crazy things that most people will never accomplish, it should be your goal to extract every bit of their mindset and outlook as you possibly can. Even if you're able to download 10% of his paradigm and practices, then you'll be in much better condition than most people are. I mean, who knows what Arnold will do next? What is he, like 70? By the time he's 80, he'll probably just decide to be an astronaut or something. If you made it this far in the video, then I want to give you 3 more very quick bonus books that were pretty life-changing for me. Since we're on the topic of biographies, Bruce Springsteen's book, Born to Run. It's a biography that he wrote, and as a musician myself, it was very inspiring just to hear about his journey. Very similar to Arnold, he had this masculine determination and doggedness that I think is missing in a lot of men today. I think men need more role models to realize what's possible in this life. And the thing is, you can choose your mentors. You can choose the people that you look up to. If you grew up fatherless, or if the father figures in your life were less than optimal, read biographies of other men who have accomplished things that most would deem as impossible. The next bonus recommendation is actually going to be an audiobook. I know that I said I hate audiobooks and you should spend time with the actual words in a physical book, but Eckhart Tolle's Power of Now is actually a fantastic audiobook. It's very meditative. If you're someone who walks a lot like I do, I highly recommend getting that as an audiobook. You could even use it as a 20-minute meditation as you walk. Just listen to the words, let them enter into your subconscious. That's a book that I think there's more to it than just the cerebral. The spiritual aspect of it is very evident the more time that I've spent with that audiobook. He narrates it himself, and so just the calmingness of his voice with his German accent is amazing. Almost every time that I have a high stress day and I'm running around, my mind's all over the place, I realize that I skipped out on my Power of Now walking meditation. It really can set the pace for the rest of your day with being mindful, being aware of the chaos of your thoughts, and just being very present in the moment. And the final bonus recommendation is Steven Pressfield's War of Art. If you're a creative person, and I believe that most people are creative, they're just repress their inner creativity. That book really helped me unlock my inner potential with fighting against procrastination and a concept that he calls resistance. There's a lot of groundwork and tedious tasks that usually has to be done if ever you're pursuing a purposeful goal or a dream, and resistance is the thing that keeps us small in this life. He makes it easier to just put your ass in the seat and write the book, write the song, start the business, whatever it is that you've been putting off. If you're in that stagnant stage of life, this book will really help you feel seen and show you how to increase your awareness to slowly stop self-sabotaging yourself, basically. Very powerful book. I highly recommend it. Steven Pressfield was one of Ryan Holiday's mentors. Ryan Holiday has written tons of books you've probably heard of. Ego is the Enemy, Obstacle is the Way. He's one of the few people that really breaks down Stoic philosophy in a way that's digestible for your average person. There's tons of people out there that I admire. I wouldn't be able to do this work that I'm doing right now if it wasn't for all these books and people that have influenced me. That saying, we stand on the shoulders of giants, is very true. And I want to say again, you can go down the rabbit trail forever of just researching books, having a huge book collection. And at the end of the day, most of these self-improvement books and texts on philosophy, they're all kind of saying the same things. You need to just find the books where the specific language resonates the deepest with you. And if you're watching my videos, then you and I probably have a lot of similarities. So I think these books are probably a really great place to start. And if any of these books that I recommended for you, when you're reading them, if you don't get that sense of internal nourishment, like your soul and your mind is just expanding, then put the book down and find something else. These are books that just resonated with me specifically, but they might not necessarily be the right ones for you. But give them a shot and let me know what you think. You are loved, you matter, and you've barely scratched the surface of what you're capable of. If you got something out of this, then please like the video and consider subscribing. Watch this video right now, and I'll talk to you soon.